All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's guts role play. How's everyone doing today? Oh, let me have my welcome to have that background off of me there. Sweet. So I just wanted to say to everyone. Oh, I didn't know that, Tim, you can do that recording for note-taking purposes. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Well,
Fathom
happy Wednesday. What's that?
that Fathom is free.
Okay. So what does that do exactly?
I connected it to my Zoom and it automatically logs in. I didn't even realize it was going to do that today, but every time I log in, it automatically logs in, and then you have to let it in. If you don't, then it'll stay in the
And it does like note taking for you?
Yeah, it'll do note taking, and then I have a little thing on the side here where if you say something, I can trigger like a note, and then I can go back in later and go quickly right back to this part of the recording.
Oh, beautiful. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had no idea that it did that. That's great. Well, let's see here. We'll dive right in. I just wanted to kind of for those of you who don't know me, I'll introduce myself briefly. My name is Brandon Simmons, and I live in the Phoenix, Arizona area, out in Gilbert, Arizona. And I'm a licensee of Claude's gut sales. And what I do is I use gut sales every day in my real estate and my coaching businesses. And it's a really simple method. I think that it's one of the things that has helped me in my business. Started helping me mainly in my real estate business on the sales side. And then when I started my coaching and consulting business, it was very helpful. So I also am a big believer in the very KISS method, or attraction marketing method, of doing simple things to market for leads. I am not a big fan of cold calling and writing out thousands and thousands of yellow letters and postcards, or spending tons and tons of money on expensive pay-per-click. Depending, all these things have worked for me, and I've done that. But one of the things that I found is if I keep my overhead low and my profits high, then I'm happier, and the rest of my family's happier. So real quick before we jump in here, I'd love to kind of get to know you guys a little bit. If you wouldn't mind just throwing or unmuting yourself, explaining, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're calling in from here, and what your background is. If you're doing real estate, if you're doing sales in some other organization, that'd be great. Rodrigo, you want to go first?
Yeah. Hey, Brandon. Good morning. Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Rodrigo. I come from a sales background. Right out of high school, I jumped into sales with a couple of friends of mine, and then throughout the years, it's transgressed from solar sales or any other type of sales to mainly real estate sales. I've worked with a couple organizations here in the Phoenix Valley area. Um, I've seen Brandon quite a couple of times, and I've been really I really fell in love with creative deals and creative financing and all that real estate has to offer. So yeah, I'm a wholesaler out of Phoenix, Arizona, and yeah, hope to keep going.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thanks. Rebecca, you want to go next?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't have any background in as far as investing. So this is the first year I started taking real estate classes, and I met Brandon through the Deal Finders Club. So through Marcus and I just had a brain fart. Mike over at Azaria. So this is all new to me. I love the gut sales method approach. And since watching all the videos, it just fit for me. I didn't like the cold calling. It just didn't fit with me or my personality and my approach. So I'm just here to learn from you all, and I'm excited to be a part of the group.
Well, awesome. Well, welcome aboard. And Marcus and Mike are awesome over there at Azaria. So
Yes.
I actually got a call with him a little bit later today. So it'll be really
Awesome.
good. Well, thanks for jumping on here. All right. Now, do you prefer Tim John or Tim?
Most of my friends call me Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Can I pretend to be a friend?
you. Sure, absolutely.
I like your background, by the way. I love the Gary Vee back there.
Thank you. Thank you. I like to change it up sometimes. So,
Yeah, so
go ahead.
just a little background on yourself, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm Tim Wilkinson. I'm here in Dallas, Fort Worth area now. Born and raised in Southern California, and there I was doing, I've been doing real estate for 10, 12 years now, and just now pivoting more into just taking a different sales approach, and been practicing and working through this gut sales training here probably about 3 months now, 2 months, something like that. But
Okay.
fairly new to the guts process.
And you live in Southern California?
No, I live in Fort Worth right now.
Yeah, now, but before you were in Southern California, you said?
Yeah, just outside in the Inland Empire. I don't know if anybody knows that. It's
Yeah, Riverside, Colton.
yeah, I used to live right near Riverside.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
And now you're in DFW area?
Yeah, live in Fort Worth right now.
Fort Worth, okay. Yeah, I got a buddy in Fort Worth. You may know John Jackson.
John Jackson. Yeah,
He's a lease option
I
guy.
heard his name.
Yeah, I told him he's a comedian. He's a crappy comedian. He used to be a stand-up comedian. So
Really?
yeah, but he got into real estate. He got into lease options. He used to do, this will date us a little bit. So he used to do repairs for Radio Shack.
Really? Wow.
Does anyone remember Radio Shack? Does anyone know what Radio Shack is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Abigail remember. So, yeah, that was the cool tech store. That was like before Best Buy, before like Circuit City and stuff like that, right? There's a place where you get your batteries and all the parts and replacement stuff for all your tech stuff and your electronics and everything like that. So yeah, so John Jackson actually practiced, his big thing is lease options in Texas. So he focuses on Texas lease options. People say you can't do lease options in Texas. He does them all the time. So yeah, awesome. Abigail and Joseph, welcome. All we're doing just real quick is doing some quick intros. If you can just unmute yourself to just tell us where you're from and what your background is, if you're doing real estate or if you just got into real estate, or if you're in a type of sales background, what type of sales is it? So Abigail, if you want to go next, and then Joseph.
Sure. Yeah, hi. I'm actually in the Seattle area. And I sort of just kind of newly got my agent's license, but I've been investing in real estate. I think I started kind of 2017. So I own some duplexes in Washington and then some single family homes in Oklahoma City area. And yeah, I'm kind of looking to build up my inventory and then also kind of just sort of build up a sort of hybrid agent, kind of investor agent / wholesaling type business. So.
Yeah. Abigail is one of the most, I just amazed at how much she puts on her plate. So she can do a lot.
Maybe a little too much, but yeah, so probably need to simplify it a little bit.
Oh, that's great. Well, welcome. Joseph, if you can introduce yourself, just tell us where you're from and your background in sales or real estate or whatever you're doing. And then we'll go to Ty next. Ty, we're just doing quick introductions, your name and where you're from, and if you're doing real estate or sales and what that is. So go ahead, Joseph.
Yes, hi, my name is Joseph Shach. We live in South Carolina on the border with North Carolina. We are in real estate and South and North Carolina, it's our target area outside of Charlotte metropolitan area. We love something like more rural than metro area. And from our experience, people would love to live everywhere. So just everywhere. So we sold houses which I would never think that somebody would love it and think to live in this house. Like one of the house was in the middle of nowhere, and we had bidding war on this house. Bidding war. I was surprised completely. So we are trying to do some creative, real creative financing, seller financing. So just recently we bought a house with seller financing, 10% down and no interest. And we are paying like $300 per month for 3 years, and they pay off in 3 years.
And you do some notes and stuff too, right?
Yes, we sold a few notes, and so we are doing notes. We are actually we love to. Let's put back a little bit. We've been landlords for many years, and we hate it as much as we can. So so we decided no landlording anymore. So this is why we are selling with our financing. The worst case scenario is with option to buy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you. By the way, every time I think of South Carolina, I don't know if you guys have seen this documentary or not, but there's this Murdoch murders. This guy who was like an attorney that just got sentenced to like life in jail for killing his wife and son and his maid or housekeeper or whatever. It was this big whole thing. It is one of those Netflix documentaries that everyone has to watch sometimes.
No,
I don't know. I have a wife that like loves all those like murder mysteries, the 48 hours and all that stuff. So I don't know if I should be worried or not, but
no, I don't think so that it's because of air in South Carolina. I don't think so.
Yeah, no problem. Ty, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us what part of the country you're from, and if you're doing real estate or sales, and then Eric, if you want to go last, and then we'll jump right into it.
Yeah. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I am in sunny Arizona. Grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and been out here for about 20 years. My roommate was from Sierra Vista. You guys probably don't know any of those except for Pittsburgh. Go Steelers and Penguins and black and gold. Gotta throw that in there, right? But hey, I was in mortgages for a while when I came out here. And then I started a diabetic supply business. I've been doing that for like 8 years. Trying to get out of it. I got into it so I could do real estate, but it took off so well. I ended up losing my love for real estate and just kind of regaining that. If you guys, I think real estate's my first love, but getting back into it here and in Tucson. Right now I'm working with some wholesalers. We're doing wholesaling and lease options and just trying to figure out my niche to get rich kind of thing. But I'm a big believer in faith and family, number one. And yeah, I'm just glad to be here, connect with you guys. Thanks, Brandon.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Ty. All right, Eric, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what part of the country you're from, and what type of investing you're doing or sales you're doing, and then we'll dive right in. Uh-oh, I froze. Hopefully everyone can hear me still. Eric, do you want to go next?
You're good. You're coming through.
Are we good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My name's Eric Cox. I'm from Lafayette, Indiana. I started as a wholesaler in the bull markets for hedge funds and kind of went out on my own the past few years as a carpenter. We did flips on the side, weekends and old burnout houses, for some extra cash. Didn't really realize what we were doing. We just thought we were making extra money for beer and motorcycles. And I've started doing some JV deals I've moved into 4 different states on a daily basis. I have some properties in my hometown. I don't really love being a landlord as much as I thought I would be. I would like to turn those into notes, I think. I'm looking into actively investing into storage facilities for my passive income and real estate security. And, you know, I've just kind of found a love for real estate investment. So I think that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I hope.
Well, make sure you connect with Abigail, because Abigail is working with an investment group that's looking for some good cash flowing rental properties in Indy.
Okay. All right. We can make that
Indiana
happen.
market. Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's get going. Gut sales. Who can explain a little bit about the philosophy of guts? Who knows some of the philosophy? And by the way, if you don't have this, this is an awesome book. It's Claude Diamond's How to Sell with Guts manual. I'll tell you what I'll do is, if anyone's watching this and they're not on the call, if they just go to brandontheman.com and schedule a quick call with me, or shoot me a text message at 480-818-6460 and say Guts Manual, I'll send everyone a copy of the Guts Manual. Does everyone have a copy in this group?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll throw one in the group here real quick.
Cool,
But
appreciate it.
in here he talks about, ways to prospect, the philosophy, the guts moves, the rules, the questions, the success staircase. I want to just talk about the philosophy for a second, and I'll pull this up here so I can share this with everyone here.
The Today Money, EQ, unorthodox sales, all that jazz. Make money today, close on the first call if possible. That's all
There you go.
off the top of my head.
Yeah, you got it. I'll share my screen real quick so you can see this. So, and then I'll throw this in the chat for you all.
What's cool, I think, is it works with any business. Like we talked about that last week with Justin. The Polar Pops and car warranties and stuff. It's just how do you apply it? Just once you know the model, the staircase, you can apply it anywhere, which is like so golden.
And this is the staircase he's talking about, but kind of like going back up here to real quick for the philosophy is, you are a professional, act like one, the financial success comes first, control the conversation, the guts moves that we'll talk about. SDS, want a friend, get a dog. If your life stinks, it's your fault. Time, knowledge, energy. Part of the biggest things I got from this was giving away information for free and letting other people control the conversations. A lot of times when we're talking to homeowners or sellers, we're the buyers, but yet we're begging them to work with us. And so no begging, we're not allowed to beg here. We want to make sure that, over here on the guts moves, right? We talk about no presentation. Claude likes to say no premature presentations. So in other words, we need to do the qualification process first before we go into any presentation mode. We always control the conversation using questions. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask Rebecca. Rebecca, tell me a little bit about your background. You started in real estate how long ago? Just a little bit ago, right?
Yeah, so I've been in the real estate world, specifically in like land acquisition for government.
Oh wow!
For about I want to say like 15 years. So I started out at the Arizona state government, and now I'm with City of Phoenix government. So
Okay.
I'm currently real estate. So it's a different approach. So I don't have any type of marketing or sales skills, at least yet.
Got it. No, that's fine, and then that's part of the process. So let's do a little role plays, because that's what today's all about. let's see, who wants to pick on me? Who feels like being the bad guy for a little bit? It's okay. Joseph, you want to be the bad guy? Pick on me
I
for a minute?
always bad guy, so we can do it.
Okay. So let's pretend you're the seller and I'm talking to you, right? And let's say Joseph calls me back from a voicemail I left him, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay.
Ring, ring. Hello?
Yes, hi. I got your voice message. I did not get what is it about.
I don't know. Who's this?
Yeah, my name is Joseph. You left me a message yesterday. I don't know what was it. It's to call you back for what?
Gosh, it doesn't really ring a bell. I'm sorry. Maybe you can help me out a second. This isn't regarding real estate. You don't have a house you're looking to sell or property trying to rent or something, do you?
Yeah, I do have a house for sale.
Oh, that must be what it is. That must be what it is. Okay. Yeah, I was calling a few different people yesterday about some different properties I'm interested in. Do you have a few minutes where I can just ask you a few questions?
No, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, first off, why don't you just let me know what the address is?
123 Main Street.
123 Main Street. Okay. And hopefully I can ask you a few questions and see if this even works for what we're trying to do. If it's not a good fit for me, I'm going to let you know if that's okay. And if my offer doesn't work for you, will you tell me no as well?
Are you gonna give me an offer?
I'm hoping to. It depends if it fits my criteria. Yeah.
Ah, okay, it's interesting. Okay, let's try.
Okay, great. So that's just kind of how I kind of built. By the way, we get a lot of people calling us back. You ever get the people that are like, why are you calling me? Right? What's going on? Why are you calling me? I don't know. Did I call you? Or how about this? Let's turn a cold call into a warm call. Anyone ever try that? Do a cold call into a warm call? Rodrigo, you want to practice this with me? I don't know if you're frozen or if you're there.
No, I'm right here.
Okay, great. So sorry, my internet says unstable, so it like freezes on me a little bit, guys. So hopefully everything still works fine. I think partly because we're streaming this on YouTube as well. Okay, so I'm gonna cold call Rodrigo, and Rodrigo's a for sale by owner, and I'm gonna turn the cold call into a warm call. Okay. All right, ring ring.
Hey, who's this?
Hey, it's Brandon. This isn't Rodrigo, is it?
Hey, Brandon. Yeah, this is me. What is this call regarding about?
Awesome, man. I'm so glad we finally connected. Yeah, I have your name and phone number here in front of me, and I'm a little embarrassed. I don't know what this is about. My assistant, I think, left it here. I don't know. Can you help me out?
Well, you called me. What do you mean?
You don't by chance happen to have a house you're looking to sell or rent right now, do you?
Oh, yeah. I have a property I just put up on Zillow about 3-4 days ago.
Oh, that must be what it is. That must be what it is. Great. By the way, do you see how I asked for help? I'm kind of like getting them to come to me a little bit. And I like to use the analogy of being in the grocery store. And this is a good way to practice. Go to the grocery store, just ask a stranger if they can help you find like the peanut butter. And for some reason, whenever you ask for help, people want to come to your rescue. People want to come and help, right? Hold on. What's the name of the app that you use on your phone whenever you're trying to get a ride home from the airport?
Uber?
What?
Uber?
No, the other one.
Lyft?
That's it, Lyft. All right. So what did Rodrigo just do for me there? Did he come and bail me out? He did.
You kind of stroked my ego by making me feel like I knew it, like I knew something.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping me. And by the way, we want to give compliments, right? We want to say thank you and compliment people. That's probably one of my worst things whenever I role play is forgetting to say thank you and complimenting and doing the stroke and then going in for the ask. All right. So let's do another little role play here. Eric, we'll pick on Eric and we'll have Eric and Tim kind of go at it. So Eric, you're going to be the investor and Tim, you're the homeowner. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to talk about actually let's just take out the houses. So Tim, you have some used Q-tips for sale. Todd likes using this one.
I have
Right.
used Q-tips for sale.
You have used Q-tips for sale, and Eric is actually looking to buy some used Q-tips.
Okay.
Okay. So now Eric calls you. How does the call go? How do we set that up?
Ring, ring.
Hello, this is Tim.
Hi, Tim. My name's Eric Cox. I got nothing. I am a reseller, and I understand that you have some used Q-tips you're looking to come off of. Could we take a few minutes and discuss that?
Yeah, I do. I do have some time and I do have Q-tips.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. So I just want to ask you some questions, and maybe you ask some questions of me, and if you don't like what I have to say, you fire me and we go about our separate ways. That'd be all right with you?
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
Great. Tim, do you want to tell me about your used Q-tips?
Yeah, they're used. They come with a fair amount of wax.
Okay. Lots of
Awesome.
wax. How many Q-tips are for sale exactly?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, what kind of bulk are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for quite a bit of bulk. Like I said, I want to resell them and reuse them. I'm going to repurpose them. So if I could get a good deal on a bulk amount, I would be interested in buying a large amount, if not possibly the whole lot. But that all depends on what you're willing to do and how much you're willing to come off of.
All right. Well, again, I mean, we have quite a few. So what kind of bulk are we talking about here?
Well, Tim, I need about 5,000 pounds of used Q-tips. Can you do that for me?
Oh man, that is a decent amount. I might be able to pull those together. Might be able to pull those together for one for one order. Are you looking to do that once, or are you looking to do that moving forward, monthly?
Well, ultimately, what I would like to do, my partners and I are trying to set up another process, and we need these used Q-tips for our products. So if we could come
I want to hit a timeout real
deal-
quick. By the way, you get real quick timeout. By the way, you guys are doing great. And by the way, it's weird to use like something like used Q-tips. But the reason why he did that is because we can use this concept that got sales for whatever, right? Now, Eric, he said one thing. He asked a question. What was your question, Tim?
I think the one you're talking about is probably, are we looking at this being a one-time order or ongoing?
Bingo. Now, what's a question, Eric, that you can ask right then? What's a redirection question that you can ask right then?
A redirection question?
Yeah.
I would respond to that. It would depend on if you can meet my needs.
So that's an answer. That's a statement.
Yeah.
you want-
So a
You need to
redirection
come up with
question.
a question.
Can you provide them to me at a low shipping cost and an affordable price on a regular basis?
That's pretty good. Another one would be, that's interesting that you asked that, Tim. Why'd you ask that question? Just curious.
Okay. So more of a direct back philosophy of, yeah, just taking back control of the conversation.
Bingo. So let's use this on a house scenario. So Tim, let's say you have a house for sale and Eric's calling you up, and he kind of set that framework, the roadmap, right? He told you that, he's calling regarding your house, want to know if it's still available, asking permission to ask questions. He already did that. And now he's going to go into the different qualification questions, right? The time qualification question, the money, like what's the price, the needs and the greeds, why. By the way, the needs and greeds, also, I like to refer to it as the magic question, or, the motivation why someone's doing something. And then if they're the ones that can make the decision too. So let's kind of go through those qualifications for a second between Eric and Tim. Eric, you're the buyer. Tim, you're the seller on the house.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can we start over again? I got a little distracted.
You bet. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. So right here under the qualification, we want to understand, how soon they want to sell, how much they're asking, why, the needs and the needs. And then if they're the ones that can make the decision too, right?
Okay.
Before we even go into the closing part at all.
All right. Tim, I like what you've had to say about this property so far, and it meets my buy box. I just have a couple more questions. Can I get 5 more minutes of your time?
Sure. How can I help you?
Okay, if I was to make an offer today on a price that you liked, is there anybody else that we would need to get permission from as well, or we should consider in making this decision?
Well, yeah, my aunt is actually the. I'm trying to decide on a situation here. So my aunt is actually the
She's the deeded
The owner?
owner of the property.
yeah,
Is that what
yeah, I
you're
was gonna say,
trying to
yeah,
tell me,
she's
Tim?
in control of the property. My aunt's actually the one who's gonna decide.
When you're just out here talking to people, trying to sell it for people for her?
Yeah, well, my aunt and I are
Okay.
trying to get this sold for the family. It's in probate, and we're looking to we're looking to get it sold. My aunt is the actual personal representative of the estate.
Okay, that's great. What would it be like to try to get her on a call with us so we could all discuss money and see what kind of time frame we could get this wrapped up in?
We can schedule a time.
Okay, that'd be great. So before we get to that decision, could you and I quickly just discuss what kind of price you're looking for, and what would work best for you to get out of probate?
Sure.
And by the way,
Okay.
that's a good one. And Eric, maybe you want to say, like, should we get her on the phone before asking any more questions? Would she be the one that I need to talk to, or are you able to answer some of the questions too? Right.
Okay.
By the way, that's a good one, because I've wasted time. Anyone ever waste time on a call and they weren't even the decision maker, or they weren't the one that could make the decision and sign the agreement? That's frustrating. Yeah. Ty has his hand up too, for sure. Yeah, that can be very frustrating. So let's do another scenario. Who has some scenarios? Let's have some fun with this. Who's run into some scenarios this week? Rodrigo, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, I had this prospect yesterday, actually. We were speaking about the property, and when I was getting to his needs and greeds, he kind of like steered away from it like a lot. Like, what do you suggest to do in those situations when I guess they're like, oh, it shouldn't matter, and they start becoming hostile?
Well, let's run through that real quick. Why don't you pretend to be the seller,
Okay.
and I can role play, and if anyone has any feedback on what I should say or questions to ask, throw them in the chat as we're role playing here. So Rodrigo, yeah, thanks for calling me back. So the house at 123 Main Street, that's still available, or am I too late?
No, man, it seems like you're right on time. Yeah, it's still available. I don't
Okay.
know if you want to come take a look at it. I'm free for a couple of days. I know some people want to take a look at it next week. So yeah, whenever you're in the area and would love to take a look, just give me a
Okay.
ring.
Is it okay if I you a few questions about the property, see if it's going to fit our criteria?
Sure.
Okay, great. And hopefully by the end of the conversation, I can come up with an offer that makes sense for you. And if it does, we can move forward. And if it doesn't, you can fire me and tell me no. Is that fair?
Okay, yeah, that sounds fair, man.
Okay, great. And if it doesn't work for me, I'll let you know as well. So, I see the price here. You have it for sale at 250. Is that right?
Yeah, but it's actually gonna go up in the next week. So I think you should jump on it fast.
Okay, so you're asking 250 right now, maybe increasing the price in a week or so.
Yeah, I've been seeing the properties around the area and they've all been going up. I mean,
Okay.
everybody wants a house nowadays, and yeah.
Cool. So let me ask you a question on that. How soon are you going to be changing the price on that?
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, I might not. It just depends on, if I can make the right deal.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully we can make a deal today. Is I ask you a little bit about the condition of the property, what's going on with it?
I mean, you see the pictures on Zillow, right?
Yeah, but can't always tell everything from Zillow. What do you know when the hot water heater was last replaced?
Yeah, so we replaced the hot water heater about like 3 years ago, maybe 4.
Okay.
And the roof was also replaced probably around 15 years ago, but it's a 30-year shingle, so it's all good there. And yeah.
Okay. And what would you suggest if we wanted to make it like HGTV ready, like the best looking house in the block? What would you do to it? If you had a Home Depot gift card, you can do anything you want to it. What would you do?
Well, honestly, I was gonna replace the floor, but that's about it. Yeah, just the floor. Everything else
Floor.
seems good. I did the restroom about 2 years ago, and I did a little upkeep, throughout the years. I mean, the property was built in 1964. We've owned it since the 70s, and we've been doing, simple renovations. Like, actually, we did a renovation not too long ago. I think it was in 2006. We did the kitchen, the countertops,
Okay.
and yeah.
Seems like a nice place. Why are you even selling it?
Just some family issues, man. I don't think that matters at all.
Well, the reason why I'm asking, and remember I asked permission to ask you a couple questions at the beginning of the conversation. The reason I'm asking, we buy houses a couple different ways. So what would be the
What do you mean by that?
Well, we buy houses either cash or on payments and take over payments and do on terms. Would any of those work for you if you got the price you're looking for?
Well, it depends what the terms are.
Okay.
What do you mean by terms?
Are you the person that's allowed to make the decision, or is there any other decision makers?
No, yeah. I'm the head of the household, and the properties and is titled to me as far as I know.
I mean, why don't you just keep it?
What do you mean?
I mean, it seems like you've done a lot of work to it. Why don't you just hang on to it?
No, man. I mean, I want to sell it. Do you want to buy it?
Well, I'm interested in buying it. I'm just trying to find out why you're even selling it. I mean, is there something, maybe there's an underlying issue I don't know about?
No, I mean that's really none of your concern. And yeah, I'm looking to sell it. If I get the right price, I'll sell it, but I'm not somebody that has to sell,
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Did I upset you or say something to you that made you mad at me?
No, man, it's just I've just been dealing with a lot of people who, unfortunately wasted my time previously about the property. And I just looking to talk to a real buyer.
Oh, I'm a real buyer, but I'm just not sure. I need to understand a little bit about the reason why behind buying it. If you don't want to share that with me, you don't have to. We can just call it a day and shake hands and be friends.
I mean, it just seems like, it's just some family issues, family problem.
Like, is it a divorce? Is there like inheritance properties that going through probate? What's going on?
Yeah, man, I'm getting a divorce and I'm looking to sell within the next couple of months, probably.
Man, I'm really sorry to hear about that. It seems to be in the water lately. I know a lot of my friends going through stuff like that. So my heart goes out to you. So thank you for sharing that with me. That's really kind of you. And I know that's the difficult situation to bring up. No one wants to hear about that. Just for a second, suppose I can go ahead and give you an offer today that fits for you, that takes care of your needs. And I know you're going through this divorce that fits for the situation that you're going through. What would you want to do next?
Well, like I said, man, I'm looking for a real buyer, a qualified buyer, and yeah, I'm looking to get out of this.
Okay, great. So off the role play for a second. So Rodrigo did a great job, man. You're really like hanging in there, not like hanging on, didn't want to share that with me, right? So it wasn't until Ty brought this up, right? Time to fire the prospect. Sometimes we just need to go, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
I feel like that's
and by the way, remember at the beginning, we always try to set the roadmap. We ask permission to ask questions. We give them permission to say no to us. And if they don't want to open up or share, move on, right? Because the motivation quotient isn't high then if they're not going to share it. We knew that the motivation quotient was high, but he just wasn't sharing. Do sellers ever hold the cards close to their chest?
All
It's
the
like
time.
poker, right? They don't want anyone to see what's going on. Right.
Yeah,
Our
true.
job is to get them to like and trust us enough to kind of show us what's happening.
Right.
And when they do that, should we acknowledge that? Stroke and
Yeah.
compliment that and thank them for sharing those things, because those are kind of personal things, right?
Yeah.
You're in
I
this
like that.
you're in this business enough, you start finding out you're part of your job is almost being like a therapist, I swear.
Yeah, doctor.
Doctor, therapist, all the above, right? So that's a good job on that, Rodrigo. Did that help a little bit?
Yeah, a lot. It actually gave you a better perspective of how to approach. I feel like you're totally right. You know, if at one point they don't want to answer, why should I help them? Because I feel like a lot of times people get into that begging mindset, and it's not good. Appreciate it, Brendan. Thank you.
No
It was
problem.
really good, Brent. I like that you dug deep, but you just kind of reiterated what they promised you at the beginning. Like you said, hey, we can ask questions. I'm asking a question, kind of thing. But you said it in a gentle way, right? You shouldn't say, hey, I'm asking a question. What's the answer? You're like, hey, you kind of said, hey, is it this or that? I need to kind of know, see which direction to go. And then you did say, hey, we could just call it a day and be friends.
Right. Now, one of the other things too, let's just add the layer to this. I'm going to have Terry's on here. Hey, Terry, how you doing, buddy? We got Rick on here too.
All right.
Rick or Terry, are you able to chime in on this for a second? If I have you chime in on this role play for a second?
Sure.
Now, one of the things I always found out is if you can use a story to help you with your example. So say Rodrigo doesn't want to open up, right? He's reluctant to open up and we need him to open up, and there's a reason why. So if we can come up with a story, maybe someone didn't tell you everything going on. Maybe they signed a contract and that someone's going through a divorce, but the wife wouldn't sign the contract. So they wired funds, they were ready to close, but the wife wouldn't sign, right? Think about a story that you might be able to come up with, Terry, to explain to Rodrigo why you need to know the situation. Can you come up with a story off the cuff real quick?
I went to purchase a house the other week, and this isn't a real story, so I'm just trying to make things up.
That's
But
okay. You're just being a thespian right now.
Yeah, I went to purchase a house the other week and put all my escrow money in and everything, and turned out the one of the owners, which was the wife, wouldn't sign. So we had to scrap the deal. I don't know. Is that
That's great. Yeah, that's a good example. Exactly.
Yeah.
You, by the way, and the more experience you have, the more stories you have, the more
Right.
ideas you have. So I'm going to throw Eric under the bus here for a second. Okay, Eric, Rodrigo has the same situation. Now I want you to come up with a different story other than the wife wouldn't sign. So you need to come up with a story to get Rodrigo to open up to you.
Okay. No, I got nothing.
It could be a bad tenant. They have it under lease that they wouldn't move out. It could be more than one heir that has record of the property, but they didn't go through probate. Think of a couple different things and throw something at him right there. All you're trying to do is to help him put himself into your shoes as the buyer.
Honestly, I haven't been paying 100% attention, so I'm not on the same page right now, Brandon. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We
I
can
did
throw
scrape in
another one.
California yesterday, and my phone's like melting for the past day and a half, and I'm just trying to get into class today. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So
Thank
Rodrigo,
you.
I'll throw a scenario at you. So Rodrigo, the reason why I'm asking is because, I was all excited. I got the money moved around, ready to buy this house. And it turned out the guy I was talking to actually inherited the property from his mom. His mom passed away, but he never went through probate, didn't go through that process. So he didn't even have the right to sign the paperwork of the contract. So the reason why I'm asking is, why you're selling is because I need to know that you're legitimate, that you're the one that can sell it. And then the why behind selling, the reason I'm asking that is it makes sense to me and helps me have trust in you that you have the ability to make those decisions and that I feel comfortable doing business with you.
I love that. I love that you said that I love when you said that I have to know that you're legitimate. It kind of puts it it kind of shifts the paradox into like, I need to know that you're good before we can continue. So that's pretty good.
That's called frame control, right? That's called frame control. Whenever a lot of times the sellers try to remain in control, try to hold on to that frame. But the way we control conversations a lot of times is by asking questions. Okay. All right, let's go through let's try another scenario here. Who has another scenario they want to throw out?
What about, oh, go ahead.
Specifically yesterday, is we have learned to do scrapes and things like that, and ask people what properties they're calling us about.
Uh-huh.
I am getting people that are upset that I don't know specifically the property that they are talking about, and they don't feel special. And there are so many investors in our field. They give us a bad rap. Individuals that are trying to make good offers and make good deals and come through on our deals, and I can't recover from that. Like I try to recover from that, but when somebody's already in that mindset, how can we circumnavigate that? Like,
so if you and specifically, Eric's talking about doing ringless voicemail to for sale by owners, right? So if you have that spreadsheet in front of you, Eric, you can hit the Control F function. It's a search function, and you can type in the phone number whenever they call, and it'll go right to that column or that row where that phone number is, and then you can see what address it is.
high level.
On your spreadsheet, if you're on your spreadsheet. There is a search function too. If there's a phone number in high level, you just search the phone number.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what, and so let's just role play. Let's just say that you're calling me back, and maybe you're getting ready to have your feelings hurt because I don't have all the information in front of me. Okay, so call me back.
Ring ring.
Hello, it's Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. This is Eric Cox. I'm calling about 1819. No, see, that doesn't work because they're calling me back.
You're not telling me the address. Yeah, you just say you're just Eric. So just call me back.
Hey, this is Eric.
Hey, Eric. Hey, thanks for calling me. What's going on? How can I help you?
Well, actually, I'm looking for some houses.
No, you're the
This doesn't-
homeowner. You're the seller. You're the seller.
Yeah.
So I'm the buyer. So you're calling me back off of ringless voicemail. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, what can I do for you today?
Yeah, I guess you just call me. Did you have a house you're looking to sell or something?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me see if I can log into my computer. Sorry, this is taking a second. While it's pulling up, I don't have everything in front of me. Can I get your address real quick, Eric?
Yeah, I guess it's 1819 South Campbell. Hey, are you a buyer? Or you want to buy this house for yourself, or you're one of those investor guys?
See all the above. I'm a buyer and an investor. You have a property you're selling then, right?
I do. You know, I mean, you guys call all the time and you all want to do creative deals or whatever you call it. I'm not taking a low ball offer. You know, I mean, it's my house. I'm looking to sell it. It doesn't make me feel special at all. I'm not special. You just, how many houses are you trying to buy right now?
Well, let me ask you a question, Eric, and it's okay to tell me no. You can fire me, get out the phone if you want. If I wrap you around with a fur coat full of $100 bills with the amount of money you're asking for that house, can we be friends?
Yeah, we can be friends. All right.
So what did I do? I did a pattern interrupt, right? Did I give him a visual? What visual did I give him?
Money.
Money. What does he want?
He wants money. In
Great.
humor, you diffuse
Humor.
the
Yeah.
situation with humor.
Yeah, and by the way, that's hard to do, right? That's hard to do because we're thinking on our feet a lot of times. So how do we diffuse situations? And by the way, does anyone have a parent or a grandparent, or anyone raised by someone, or maybe they're around a spouse or an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend that you felt like you had to walk on eggshells, and then you had to learn to kind of like break the tense, the intensity in the air to kind of lighten the mood? I'll share a quick story. Okay. I have a younger brother. He's actually taller than me. And my mom is a sweet mom, but you know, with teenage boys and a teenage girl in the house, let's just say, you have 16, 17-year-olds that are thinking that they're smarter than they are, causing trouble, causing grief. Do you think that a mom may ever get a little impatient or frustrated from dirty dishes and chores not being done and dirty rooms and laundry, doing all this work, working full time, and then coming home and dealing with kids and all stuff? Yeah, it happens, right? So my mom had a situation one time where she was upset. And she was upset at my brother. It's like, you're not listening to me. You ever get the head nod, like the bob going, and like, okay, this is, and my brother says, said something smart alecky. Well, all that does, and not in the humorous way, just like I'm gonna piss you off kind of way, right? So my mom gets ready to smack. My brother catches the hand. And that pisses my mom even off more. So then she goes off with the other hand, right? And then he catches the other hand. And then guess what my brother did? He pulls her in and goes, what did that do to my mom all of a sudden? What do you think it did? Abigail's saying something. You're muted though.
Oh yeah, that probably would make her laugh and diffuse the situation.
it 100% diffused the situation, right? First of all, my brother is way bigger and stronger than my mom. That's one thing, right? So he caught the other hand, but instead of being disrespectful, because it could have gone the other way, right? Like being very disrespectful, he just gave her a big kiss and just realized, hey, it's not that serious. What's going on? Like, and then everyone starts laughing. So we got to think of, how can we do that pattern interrupt? How can we get someone off of, by the way, sellers are upset a lot of times. And a lot of times if you ask the question, did I say something to upset you? Did I say something wrong? Gosh, did I say a cuss word? Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. And a lot of times if you apologize first or you ask a question, it almost makes them stop, right? Or if you even remind them, hey, I'm trying to give you money. If you don't want to do business with me and I upset you, then I can hang up. That's okay. And turn the other way. So, and a lot of this is what's called frame control. Guess the number one way we stay in control of the conversation. There's one, I'm going to give you the biggest hint right here to stay in control of the conversation. I'm going to write it right here. Hold on. Ask questions. If we try to explain, try to talk, just try to overtalk or talk over the person, that doesn't do any good. If you ask questions sincerely, honestly, redirection questions. That's why Claude talks about redirection a lot, right? Using redirection questions, open-ended questions, multiple choice questions, A or B, right? Do you want this or do you want that? You know, and a lot of times now let's think of a pattern interrupt, because by the way, Eric, what you're coming up with, it's very normal. It happens, right? Do you think these for sale by owners get a couple calls? They get investor calls, they get real estate agents calling them, right? One of my favorite lines I like to use is, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm sure you get plenty of calls from those jerks, don't you? I'm just here trying to give you some money. Can we talk for a few minutes or not? If they say no, move on, right? Life's too short to be upset too. And by the way, sometimes I will do things too, like I'll take a selfie picture with my hands like this in the praying motion, and like the sad puppy dog face, and text them, I'm so sorry we got off on the wrong foot. If you have a few minutes to talk later this afternoon, I'd love to talk to you about giving you cash for your house. Right. Now, also, you ever get the people that hang up or they don't answer the phone? Those are the rude ones. They don't even say bye. They just hang up like, investor. That's right. So then I'll do one like this. I don't have it now. I got to find where I did with it. I drew a ghost, like a Pac-Man ghost, the blue Pac-Man ghost. And I wrote on the little sign, I said, are you ghosting me? I just have fun, right? And they can still ghost me, right? But what usually happens is they usually call me right back. So having a little pattern up, kind of helping that, kind of just, you got to have that guts, right? That not being afraid to look like stupid sometimes. You're not being afraid to say the thing that you want to say. I'm sure that a lot of us have been in relationships or have known people that we have certain boundaries, or we ever wanted to say something, but we didn't, whether it's a boss or an employer. They don't ever have someone that they just, oh my gosh, I just want to tell this person off. Right. And life's too short. Just set your boundaries, right? And fire them. That's that easy. Move on to the next one. It's not worth doing business. I had a call last week, and it was a potential client, right? A coaching client. And it was a very high ticket coaching client. I fired him. It wasn't going to work. I just knew that that's not someone I wanted to work with, someone I want to be on the phone with, be on Zooms with. Like, it would just drain my energy. Not worth it. So just move on. So, cool. I know we're about out of time. Any questions or any other things that you guys have run into that you're seeing on a regular basis that you need help with?
Brandon,
Yeah.
not that I've ran into it, but I mean, when I've called prospects that are for rent by owner, trying to pitch options, I haven't, I guess I'm just not exposed to how you would go through it all the way through. And I always get stuck when they tell me, why would I feel like I'm not explaining it right to them, or I feel like I'm not being as sales savvy as I should be with it. I feel like I'm just kind of blurting out the information. I would love to see if you have any calls, or we could do like a mock call of you going
Yeah,
through a
we can do a
whole.
role play right now. So I'll give you a simple one. So let's just say that you're a landlord, you have a house for sale, right?
Okay.
So I'll call up ring ring.
Yes. Hello.
Hey Rodrigo, it's Brandon. I see you have that house for rent at 123 Main Street. Is that still available or am I too late?
Yeah, it's still available, man. Are you looking for
Oh,
yourself and your wife?
wonderful. Actually, I'm looking for a client of mine, and I don't know if this will be a good fit. Is it if I ask you a few quick questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. And if it doesn't work for you, please tell me no. Just say you're fired and get rid of me. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. So I have a client looking for something just like this. This is like the perfect house for them, even has the pool in the backyard and stuff like that. But they're looking for something that they can rent for a couple of years. You're not open to a long-term lease, are you?
Hey, actually, I wouldn't be opposed to it. How long you thinking? 2 years?
Probably 24 to 36 months. Is that something you'd consider?
Yeah, I mean, how good are your clients?
Well, I'm working with a couple different ones. So I got some snotty ones and then some excellent ones. Do you want the snotty ones or the good ones?
If the snotty ones can pay extra, bring them along.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Well,
That's good.
maybe I'm gonna pay extra. So now, if we do the 24 to 36 months, will that rent stay the same for that time?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to increase it maybe a tad bit just so it could stay within the same ratio. As you know, rents are always increasing. So, I mean, I wouldn't also want to lose potential gains, right? So,
Gotcha.
I mean, my rent right now is 2,500. If you guys would be interested in doing 2,600 for the full year term, that could be something that we could work on.
So what if we were able to do 2,600 for 36 months? Is that okay?
Yeah, but are they the good clients?
Yeah, I'll give you the good ones.
All right.
All right. The other thing too is if all the rent payments came in on time, would you be open to them buying it?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
after the 3 year period, right?
Yeah, sometimes within that 36 months, it could be 6 months down the road. It could be 36 months down the road. Is that something you're open to?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get this on paper real quick. So just to confirm with you, we're going to do $2,600 a month for the next 36 months with the right to buy the property at how much?
Well, right now, let me see the price. Let me hop on Zillow. It says that my property's estimate is around 350.
Okay, now just to let you know, the nice thing about this type of tenant, they're going to be a tenant buyer, so you don't have to worry about listing the property and showing the property and fixing it up and all that stuff and paying commissions. In fact, I'll even make it where they split the closing costs with you and there's no commissions. So what would be the best price you can give them?
I mean, if there's no closing costs, there's no commissions, no fees. And
Well,
I mean,
we'll split the closing cost 50-50. Is that fair?
okay, yeah. You're
Okay.
right. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, tell me what range were you guys thinking, or what range
Well,
would?
typically I'm about 10 to 15 grand below Zillow price because they aren't paying commissions and closing costs. Is that something that would work for you?
Yeah, that's not that far off. I would have actually done 20.
Okay, let's do 20 then. I like the way you work, Rodrigo.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys actually can, if these are good clients, good stuff. I mean, you sound like a reputable guy. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Great. Well, you know what? I'm really excited to be doing business with someone like you. You sound like a person that keeps their word and seems like a good landlord. Sounds like you take pretty good care of the property. Is everything in pretty good shape or anything I need to know about?
There might be a couple of touch-ups that need done. I know the roof of the pool, the plastering around the pool started to crack, so I guess that would be one of the main things. Also, one of the beams in the back porch is also started to rot. The
Okay.
wood beam, so that would need
Now you're
replacement.
scaring me off, Rodrigo. I don't know if I want this now. I'm just kidding. No, I'll bring it to my tenants, my clients, and see. Will they be able to come by and look at the place this week?
Yes, of course. I would love for you guys to come.
Okay.
I'm
When
available.
will you be around where I can schedule a time for them to see it?
Well, you let me know their time and I'm pretty much available all the time. If I don't have any other tenant that I have to deal with, I can accommodate myself to you guys.
Okay. And just to let you know, if it doesn't fit for them, I got a couple other people I'm looking for as well. I'll send over the paperwork for you and I'm going to send it out to them. Now, also just to kind of help bring the best client I can for you, I may put this out on the internet and reach out to a few other people via email. Are you okay with that?
Oh, yeah. So wait, I thought you had a client already for it. What if?
Yeah, I'm just saying if that particular client
Mm,
chooses
okay,
to
okay.
wants a different property, are you okay with that?
Okay, yeah, I would appreciate that actually.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to this. High five to you. Let's do this.
Okay. Nice speaking to you then. I'll be waiting. Let me send you over my email. Is this number okay to send it over?
Yep, that's the perfect number. So the one thing, just to kind of backtrack for a second, the thing that I did, if it hopefully you guys caught on to this, because talking to renters or talking to landlords with the property for rent versus a owner that's for sale by owner, what do landlords want?
Good tenant that's there for a long time.
Good tenants, right? That pay rent on time. Do they want rent coming in on a consistent basis? Would most landlords be okay with a longer lease if they had a good tenant? Yeah. So those are the things they kind of bring up, right? Because I already know what the mindset of the landlord is. And if by the way, if that's not a good fit, then maybe it's not a good fit. Don't force these deals, these creative deals especially. But what will happen as you start talking to more and more sellers and more landlords, you'll see that if you ask questions the right way, they're way more likely to do business and to play ball. So was that helpful on that one, Rodrigo?
Really helpful. I appreciate it. I hope I can check out the recording as well later on.
You
And
got
then
it.
Ty had a really good question talking about the credibility. Like
Okay.
it says right here in the chat that has a guy or a landlord like asked, and they've asked me, how do I know that you will pay or that the tenant can pay on time?
Good question. You know what? I don't know. That's a good question. Why do you ask that, Rodrigo?
Well, I mean, obviously I've been in deals with bad tenants and yeah, those tenants didn't pay. What happens when your client doesn't pay or something like that? Pay or something like that happens.
You know what? You've been in real estate for a little while, Rodrigo,
Yeah,
and
like
you've had a
3
couple rental
years.
properties, right?
In my, are we still in the script?
Yeah, well, we'll role play. We're still
Okay,
role
yeah,
play.
yeah. Yes.
So you know what?
Nice.
Sometimes you have good tenants, sometimes you don't. My goal is to help find the best tenant. I'll tell you what, if I presented a couple of different applicants for you, and you can choose which one, we have to follow fair housing guidelines. But if they qualify on the loan on the rental application, we do a background check and a credit check, and we verify their employment. Would you feel comfortable making the choice of which one you want there?
No, of course. I think that would be really great, man. And
Now, if they don't pay the rent on time, that's a good question because that has happened in the past. There's a couple things that I can suggest to you that may work is, sometimes I do get paid a fee to help them find a property. What if out of my portion that they pay me, I gave you equal to a month's rent, so you had a little cushion there? Will that help you out?
hey, man, that seems pretty fair. I would actually appreciate that.
Okay.
That makes me feel a whole lot more comfortable.
Beautiful. So a lot of times everyone has different, whenever there's an objection, by the way, it's not a negative. That's just a buying signal a lot of times. That's just saying, if you can answer this, I'm ready to do business today. Objections are buying signals. So the better you get at understanding objections, by the way, we don't have to solve the objection, right? Let's go back to the role play of like the tenant. What happens if they don't pay? So we'll go back to that question. So ask me that question, Rodrigo.
Well, what would happen if they don't pay?
You know what? That's an excellent question. What have you done in the past whenever a tenant hasn't paid?
Give them the boot, man. Everything by law, and unfortunately, I try to help them out, but there's sometimes that some will try to take advantage and then just try to object to paying, and then yeah, I have to kick them out.
I think the key, I think you're right on the money, Rodrigo. I think the key is just have a good conversation up front, help qualify good tenants. And these are going to be not just normal tenants, but tenant buyers, right? They want to buy the house. They're putting money down towards the property so they can end up buying it. And what I found as a landlord in the past is if I'm clear on my communication up front, and then if they don't fit, like sometimes I can have a good tenant that turns south, then I go through the eviction process. But what I usually found, Rodrigo, for me, and this is up to you, a lot of times I don't even go through the eviction process. I have a conversation with them, and a lot of times I'll even give them credit. I'll let them have that rest of the month for free if they can get out by the end of the month, and I won't even sue them for that rent. Well, that's your decision. I've even given people $1,000 if they can be out by that weekend. Because I've learned dealing with, by the way, whenever I go to court, guess who usually makes the money when you go to court, Rodrigo?
The court.
The freaking attorneys, those blood-sucking leeches.
Yeah.
Yeah. They always, I mean, that's who wins, right? So in
Yep.
fact, I'd rather just give the tenant $1,000, get rid of them, be gone, and put someone else better in there.
Okay, I agree, man. I think that's a really great plan.
Awesome. And by the way, those are legitimate concerns, right? And it's okay to acknowledge it. And you don't have to solve the problem for them every time. If you literally can't, just say I understand your problem, but I can't help you. Is that going to be a problem? Is that going to keep us from doing business today? And if you can solve it, then solve it. But if you can't, just see if you can still move forward with it, right? And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times when we're making cash offers on deals, a lot of times they want a higher price. I know. I want to pay you a higher price. Have you seen the interest rates lately? Right? Are they going up? Yeah, they're going up. So prices are coming down. So I'd like to give you more, but I can't. The economy's, not helping us out here. So I know we're out of time. Appreciate
Good,
it,
man. Really good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Anyone that's
Brandon.
on this call today too, I just want to invite you. We have a basics. So the next 2 weeks, I'm doing a special training on the basics of creative financing. And so we're doing a call at 3:30 today, and zoombrandon.live. You're welcome to jump on that. And we're going to be talking about the basics of creative financing and what bucket those deals kind of fall under. And I'm going to do training today and next week as well. That'll help out. So, all righty. See you, everybody.